Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. Thanks again for watching on Tuesday the 23rd of December. Goodness, it's all getting a bit close now, isn't it? Are you in a mad rush like I am as well? You'd think we'd learnt our lesson by now, wouldn't you? I think it's something to do, isn't it, with Christmas being later on in the week, that we seem to, it seems just to have come upon us, you know, from nowhere. Anyway, I wanted, first of all, today to kick off with a great big thank you. Through the summer and through the autumn months, we've been raising funds, as you know, for Macmillan Cancer Support. I had a call from Macmillan a few days ago to say thank you and to pass on that thanks to you who fundraised through August and through the autumn. They were absolutely delighted with the funds that you managed to raise, and you can see here that the total at the moment stands at £2,607.50, and they were really pleased to tell me that's going to be funding 2 Macmillan nurses, and it's also going to be providing some support in some of their centres as well. So they were absolutely over the moon. If you haven't donated yet, or you'd like to donate more because it's coming up to Christmas, please go to justgiving.com/sailing weather. We use sailing weather as the tag for this one, but it is WeatherWeb, it is sailing weather, and it's across all of our services as well. If you go there and then just click on the donate button, look here, you can make a donation. But thank you so much for doing that. And the reason we ask you to do that is weatherweb.net is completely free of charge. It's provided free of charge. So what we've asked is, in lieu of us starting a subscription service, please do give to Macmillan if you can. So I want to say a great big thank you and pass on those thanks to you from Macmillan. Okay, now let's just take a look at what's coming up. Which one should we go to first? That's the one I want to show you first of all. This is the mean of the ECMWF and of the GFS. We've got the ECMWF on the left here. We've got the GFS on the right. And this is from next Tuesday through to Friday the 2nd of January. Notice both are quite similar. The key factor here is the trough that's pushing the jet further south here off the eastern seaboard of the States. Now the ECMWF effectively has this feature undercutting here. We've got a ridge developing here which builds the high across the UK. This trough undercutting the ridge, pushing it further northwards, and eventually what that would do is to try and buckle the flow and bringing more of a colder east to southeasterly flow. GFS not quite seeing that. What it wants to do is actually to make the trough a weaker feature, build the ridge in across here. So the ridge is building in, but eventually it wants to bring the trough eastward. So it does see higher pressure there. It's just that the GFS doesn't see it lasting quite so long. So at the moment, we've got quite an argument going on between the different models, with the ECMWF providing a solution which sees high pressure building in. These are in 24-hour steps, and this is the analysis for last night. If I just move it on in those 24-hour steps, there's Christmas Eve, there's Christmas Day. Look, that's the cold north to northwesterly coming in Christmas Day. But just watch this ridge here, look, building in. This is Boxing Day. It collapses away as the trough passes east late Boxing Day into Saturday. The risk of some severe gales through Saturday. Low pressure then developing down to the south into Sunday, bringing a colder easterly flow. And then the ridge building over the top, maintaining this cold easterly flow into the early stages of next week. And in fact, by Tuesday, still got an easterly in with high pressure built in, and it's still there even into New Year's Eve and through New Year's Day. So the ECMWF certainly sees things trying to get cooler, and in fact going cold through the early part of next week before we do see a lift of sorts of temperature into the very early part of January. That kind of fits in with the forecast, the long ranges that we've been putting out for some time. Now, if we just compare that to the GFS Ensemble and see what the GFS Ensemble has in store, you notice these go forward in 12-hour steps. Okay, so this is the run from 6 o'clock this morning. If we just knock it on, there is our colder flow for Christmas Day. High pressure building in into Boxing Day. There's the low going through late Boxing Day into Saturday. But look, remember that on the ECMWF, the low was actually here, but the GFS Ensemble has it here. So a big difference in where they're seeing that low want to go. It then does bring in a cold northerly next week, does build the high in, but look, the ridge collapses away and it brings us into a milder southwesterly type of flow. So big discrepancy there between those two models. Of course, the question is, which one of those is going to turn out to be correct? Well, at the moment, we're leaning in towards ECMWF territory. It seems to have the more practical development. It seems to tell a better story. This is the ensemble, and you notice that the ensemble by the 28th also has that low look further south, then builds the high and into next week, puts it towards the east and keeps it there into the early part of January. But what it does do, it goes kind of halfway between the two and brings in a milder south to southwesterly flow by the time we're getting into New Year's Day and into the early part of January. So I think we're going to lean into the ECMWF idea, and probably the ensemble is more correct. What we do need to watch for is colder weather developing during this weekend, and I think Saturday is the one that we really need to watch for the threat of heavy rain moving through. Now, looking a little bit further ahead, remember we've been talking about it being cold to start January, and I think it will be cool to cold. This is the CFS for week 1, and you notice here, look, it's bringing in these cold northwesterly winds through the course of the next week. Then CFS for week 2 puts the high in, look, it sees the high as well, which of course the GFS operational is not seeing. The ensemble does see it, but the operational not seeing it to the same effect, and it tries to bring in these easterly winds. So it's going for the cool idea. It goes for the ECMWF operational idea. Week 3, it's broken the high down. It's got it further towards the south, brings us more into a west to northwesterly flow, and I think that's probably the way we shape up for early January, with those week 3 conditions tending to bring cooler weather, not desperately cold, but cooler weather for all. And then week 4, staying with the west to west northwesterlies, still got higher heights than normal down towards the south, lower up towards the north, and bringing in again these west to northwesterly winds and keeping things cool. Most unsettled across the north, more settled down towards the south. And that actually looks to be a reasonable solution to this one. So we're going to stick with our original forecast for the end of December and also for January, I think, through today. So interesting times, interesting to see how this one is going to be developing. We'll give you more on that tomorrow. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget, please do donate to Macmillan if you can. We're getting around 10,000 views on these WeatherWeb videos each day. So I'd really like to see that number of donations figure there increasing. Remember, weatherweb.net is provided to you completely free of charge. So instead of a subscription, come on, give to Macmillan Cancer Support. So I'll leave you with that for now, but whatever you do, have a fantastic day. Thanks again for watching and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.